Hey everyone, how you doing? All right, I found this video online, so I figured we would take a look at it. It's quite sad, but it's definitely worth discussing. Let's bring it over. All right, so you can see here we got this disabled Muslim beaten to death by mob in India. At least that's the title. We'll see how it goes, and we'll just walk this one through. Already pretty horrific, right? You have a disabled person, and then any group is beating them down to death, per the story. Let's see. So I guess I'm assuming that food was offered to their gods, like multiple gods, I think. So he's in a Hindu temple, their sacred, religious spot, and there's food that's offered there to the gods. It's something they used to do back in Old Testament times. They would do, sacrifices to God as if God would enjoy that. But God doesn't need food or money or anything, right? It's God, so it's kind of got all that God needs. But this is food that they're offering to one of their gods. And apparently, this disabled person went in there and, for whatever reason, took the food. Yeah, it's very distressing. So, look at this. You got this poor guy who's disabled. I don't know if they knew he was disabled. I'm sure they could have figured that out, but we'll just go with how the story is titled. Disabled person went in there, took a banana or food or something, and now they've got him tied up to a pole. Like, literally got this guy tied up to a pole. They're treating this guy like we treat animals, essentially. So looks like he's in distress, and all this for stealing food. And I'm pretty sure the guy was hungry, right? I wouldn't imagine you would just walk into a temple and take some food that was offered, to a fake god if you weren't really, really hungry. So it's just really sad. And who knows what his mental facilities are, right? Faculties. And you hear that there are like a lot of people around. It's not like this is like one person that took him out and they're doing this. If you listen to the background, you can hear there are like other people there. So he's around people. Oh wow, that's him. So this looks like it's nighttime, so some time has passed here. There are his eyes there. And I guess they're just beating him. He's tied to this pole and they're just beating him down for taking a little bit of food. And the guy's probably starving. You know what I mean? I don't think, he wanted to go into this temple and take the food. He's probably just hungry. Maybe homeless. I don't know. And this is how he's treated. This is how people treat him. And I don't even think it's so much the theft, right? Because if you're starving to death and you take a banana, it's not that big a deal, right? You're starving to death. You need food. But I think it's the fact that that food was offered to their fake god. So they're offering that food to their god as if their god needs food. Like, your god is in a different realm. All right? A spirit realm. I mean, not really. It's a fake god. But you know what I mean, right? The way they're looking at it, it's like a god that's in some other realm, and they're feeding it, right? Their god is hungry for whatever reason, and they think that their god wants a banana or whatever kind of food that is. So they're offering the food, to the god. And that's why they're so upset that this guy took it, because their god's not going to somehow get that banana. Oh. Yeah. So his family would know. So his family's basically saying he had learning disabilities. Wasn't at 100%. So who knows if he even understood like what he was doing when he went in there and took it. He may not have understood, the religious customs that people have. So it's extremely sad. And now his family's got to see these videos. Got to see the videos, him tied up, like we treat animals, horribly, right? Horrifically. Because we lack compassion when it comes to animals and people, right? We're supposed to be kind to all beings, all of them. We can't even get it right when we're dealing with ourselves, much less animals. But now his family's got to watch this, got to see this play out. It says he was targeted because maybe they knew he was a Muslim somehow. Oh my gosh. His nails were broken, his nails were taken out, and his fingers had, wow. This I mean, this sounds like torture. This sounds like they're trying to get information out of this guy and they're torturing. I mean, to rip someone's fingernails out, you have to be a pretty disgusting person. To do that to someone else, like, you have to be pretty nasty. To be able to do it, you know? I know people do bad things and, you know, sins have consequences and, you know, we leave that to God, but you're ripping out people's fingernails over taking a banana or some kind of food that you have offered to a fake God. And now God has to watch you sit down there and torture this poor guy who's a Muslim, right? He was also led astray. He's also in a false religion. That doesn't mean you killed him, right? So you have one false religion persecuting another false religion for offering a banana or some food item to a fake God. That's literally, you know, when you boil it all down, that's what we're dealing with here. So then you have God upstairs watching this unfold. This poor person who's got mental disabilities, per the family, getting tied up, getting their hands busted up, getting their nails broken, getting their nails snatched out, like almost like torture style, like you're trying to get information out of them. And all of this because two fake religions are fighting each other and offering food to a fake God who, even if it was the real God, doesn't need any food. God is a spirit being. It's light. Doesn't need food. It's awful. And beaten, of course. Well, yeah. He died eventually. Yeah, so somehow they knew he was a Muslim. And they beat him because of that. I wonder, like, what if it wasn't a Muslim? What if it was a Hindu who had just gone in there, or Christian, right? Or Sikh, or Zoroastrianism, or whatever religion you want to pick. You know, what if it was a Hindu that had gone in there and was hungry and took that banana? Well, let's say Christian. Let's make it at least a different religion. So let's say it was a Christian that went in there starving, like a Christian homeless person. And they were starving and they really wanted something to eat. And they snatched a banana or whatever food offering it is from, you know, the God that you're worshiping. Would they have beaten that person to death and snatched their fingernails out and tortured them to death is what happened? Or was it just because he was Muslim? And I know the Muslims and the Hindus are going at it. Muslims fight with a lot of people because they follow the Quran. And it's nasty. It's got nasty things written in it. And so does the Old Testament. I'm going through it right now. I just finished up 2 Kings. I'm going into Chronicles. And I'm so happy. I'm hoping it gets a little better. So far, the Old Testament is just terrible. It's like, if you wanted to see like the worst that humanity is capable of, the absolute worst that humanity can do to each other, right? That humans can do to each other, all you have to do is go read the Old Testament. And honestly, you could just go through Kings, 1 Kings and 2 Kings. I think you probably see everything there, right? Because Kings always work out so well in humanity. Let me try to recollect here. So we've got men, women, and children being devoted to destruction, absolutely destroyed, at least up until leading to Kings and in Kings. It's all the same. It's like every book I keep reading through and I hope it gets better, and it's all horrible. So men, women, and children, you have them being slaughtered. You have the animals being slaughtered. You have the virgins being stolen. You have the war brides. They're taking all the war spoils. They're stealing everything. They're killing everything. They're burning everything. Sometimes, if they don't want to steal it, they burn it. You have women, pregnant women. They're literally cutting the children out of women while they're alive because it's another tribe, right? Everyone wants to be in a tribe. It's all tribalism. People can't think of just humanity, you know, working with God, right? Under God, whatever you want to look at that. They look at it as little tribes or countries or nations. So they're cutting out children while women are alive, which I would guess kills them. And it doesn't matter because they're killing all the men, women, and children anyway. So, yeah, you kill everything. Things that you don't kill, you steal. They're all about worldly possessions, gold and precious stones, and they're stealing all of that. They love the gold. So it's like the worst. Rape, I'm sure, is in there. They're dropping things on people's heads. They're putting tent spikes into people's heads. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And then and then when they kill them or they chop their heads off, Then they let the animals, the dogs and the birds, they let them eat the bones and the skin and everything. They tie them up to poles. It's absolutely awful. Like, if you want to read about how awful human beings can be to each other, how awful we can be, all you have to do is go read the Old Testament or the Quran. From the pieces that I've seen online, people cherry pick and you know, talk crap about it, which, hey, if all you believe was the Old Testament, you could be a heinous person and you could justify all of it by things that the patriarchs did and Joshua and everybody else, Moses, all the genocide. You could justify all of it. So I'm glad I'm reading through it for the last time. I'm moving on, New Testament. Hopefully, like, Proverbs will be a little bit better, and Psalms. I'm high hopes for those, but so far the Old Testament, no, I don't think so. So to the Jews out there, I'm not quite sure how that's your only holy material. It's really, really bad. But getting back to the point, it amazes me how badly we can treat each other. Just like this, right? Different religion. He's a Muslim. They're Hindus. Both incorrect, but, they both swear they're right. So they go in there and they hurt each other. Muslims and Hindus are killing each other. And you can see what happened here in this one instance, right? Just one. But they take this guy who took a little bit of food that they were, sacrificing to their gods, whatever. And because of it, they basically beat this guy to death, torture him to death. What do you have in you? Like, who are you as a person? Can you imagine doing that? Whoever's watching this, can you imagine right now someone goes into your holy, your holy building, whatever it is, and you got some fruit or some food there for whatever God, you choose to think about, and someone takes it, and then you're the kind of person that can tie them to a telephone pole, whatever that is. You can tie them to a telephone pole and then get some pliers and start pulling out their nails while they're screaming because they're of a different religion. Whatever religion you are, just think of any other religion. And they come in and take a banana or food, whatever. You are going to be able to tie them to a pole, beat them, smash them up with your hands while they're screaming. And the person's disabled. So they're disabled. They don't really know what's going on. I don't know how much his faculties he has, but disabled, not 100% there. You're going to be able to tie them up, beat them up, and then start smashing their hands, right? And then yanking out fingernails. Like, are you capable of doing that? I certainly hope not, right? I absolutely hope not. Please don't watch my videos if you are. That's disgusting. But some people are, because they don't value humans. They don't value God's creations, right? The animals, us, right? The planet, everything. We're all created. This is all created. This is not random. This isn't just, oops, we were like little, pond scum and here we are. This is not an accident what you're looking at. Everything was created, including the universe. But unfortunately, we have free will. Unfortunately, it depends on how you look at it. For this guy, unfortunately, because of how he was treated, and he wasn't given guidance in life and things like that, he ended up, destitute and needed food and wandered into the wrong temple where people were, had an incorrect religion. And they're so mad and nasty that they had it in them that they were able to go tie him up, beat him up, beat his hands, snatch his nails off, and then leave him out there. I think they leave him out here. Let's see. Yeah, it was a banana. A banana which cost almost nothing. A single banana. Right? Very nutritious, great for you, but literally cost-wise, extremely cheap. And pretty much any culture, I think a banana is going to be pretty cheap. So something of little value being worshipped to an elephant god that doesn't exist. And that's why they got upset. And I'm not making fun of Hinduism. I get it. Sometimes you don't have enough guidance, or the information didn't get to you, or whatever the case may be, and you have to make sense of this world, and you do that in any way you can. So you use your imagination, you make sense of it, And somehow, you got to the point where you had an elephant god. So lots of different, beliefs out there for different religions. His dad. And left him there. Yeah, they beat him and left him there after yanking everything out. At least they detain people. That's good. I don't know about the legal system in India, and I know there's definitely those two religions don't like each other. There's some adversity between the two. So I don't know if because he's a Muslim he's going to get a fair shake or not in India. I'm not sure. At least they've detained people that are accused of doing it, so that's good. And we'll have to see how the legal system there plays out. So she's defending, I guess, her husband or whatever. I assume it's her husband, right? So she's defending her husband. Let me see if that was a husband. I think it was. She's saying nobody murdered him. That's interesting. The wife. She is the wife. So she's saying that her husband didn't kill him. Her husband only, I guess, beat him and left him tied to the pole and maybe took out his fingernails. So she's saying that he's innocent because of that. And that other people who just came by happened to kill him. Because I'm sure it's like a mob mentality. When you have one person doing something evil, then other people are like, oh, I can get away with it. And they get excited and they go in there and you get that mob mentality. And before you know it, everyone's beating on this guy. But I'm sorry, you can't claim innocence. And I don't know how they decided it was him. Probably from the cell phone footage. Everyone's sitting there videotaping, so it's easy to figure out who did it. But enough to arrest him. But she's saying he's innocent because he only probably tied him up and only beat him and only took his nails out, which, no, it's absolute violence. Yeah, he was alive when you left him there, probably clinging to like 2 inches of his life. Because you beat him up and had him tied up and probably couldn't breathe very well, and you ripped his fingernails out. So, yeah. You don't know how he died? It might have something to do with the fact that you tied him up to a pole and beat him up. Multiple people beat him up, and you ripped his fingernails out over a banana, right? That you were giving to a fake god. So it may have something to do with that. I'm sorry, I thought Hinduism, I thought y'all were like non-violent people. Aren't you supposed to be non-violent? Is Christianity the only non-violent religion out there? And no, I'm not using the Old Testament as a guide. We're just going to get rid of that one. A few nice things in there. I'll check out Psalms and Proverbs, but I'm definitely a New Testament kind of person. Because I'm reading the Old Testament, and it's horrific. I would never ask someone to go read that. Especially a new Christian. Are you kidding me? They'll be gone in a second. They're like, whoa, hold on. You told me it was non-violent. I'm reading a book. It's nothing but violence. It's everywhere. It's constant. Especially when you get into Kings, and it's like, this king was born, and he didn't do right by the Lord, and he was a horrible person, and he died, and his son took over, then blah, blah, same thing over and over and over. Getting off topic, sorry. Wow. Yeah. You have two incorrect religions and they're literally killing each other. I mean, thankfully we'll get all this fixed, but it's just sad that it got to this point. Jesus already came and already gave the information, but I get it. People don't trust other people, right? You're not going to believe something just because people from the past wrote it, right? Because this is 2,000 years ago. So people aren't going to believe it just because you wrote it down. Because people understand how people can remember things incorrectly, how they can embellish stories, how they can straight up lie about things that didn't happen. And that's true. With the human race, that's true. People lie. People have foggy memory, especially when you write it so far after the fact. Like, they make things up, they misremember, they embellish, things like that. So I get it why not everyone would believe it. And especially when it happened in one area, right? One region mainly. Even though it's spread out, the apostles went out, and of course you had the Bible going out everywhere. But as far as like where it all happened regionally, it was a pretty tight area there. So I get it that other religions and other areas of the world may not have seen it as directly as other people did. So I get it that people, made up religions that, we'll just have to get all that fixed. That's sad. So that's the story. This one won't be too long. So yeah, two religions, both not accurate. They hate each other. At least some of them, not all of them, but some of them, they're warring with each other and they're both wrong. And that's how God has to watch it. So God sits up top and has to watch that nonsense. And then the one religion that's correct, unfortunately, has a lot of bad material in it. A lot. Like I said, just started Chronicles, just cracked it open. So hoping it gets better, but I'm pretty sure it won't. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be devoting everything to destruction. It's going to be genocide. It's going to be killing. One tribe hates the other tribe. They go kill each other. They take each other's stuff. They steal virgin women. They lop off heads. They cut babies out of people's stomachs. Set people on fire. 10 spikes in the head. The worst things you can possibly imagine, they do. Oh, and the child sacrifice, right? It's got everything in there. I even found cannibalism, right? So you got cannibalism. They're eating children. They're burning children. They're throwing them off cliffs, however they did it. So yeah, they're sacrificing kids. And then they're blockading certain areas, right? So they'll blockade you so you can't get food. So you're starving, right? So then you have them eating children. That's in there too. Eating children, stabbing people, setting people on fire. They want people to get eaten by the dogs and the birds after they die. I'm sure they drown people. I'm sure that's in there too. Killing everybody, men, women, children. Yeah, it's horrific. It's like the worst, religious material I've ever seen in my life. It's really, really bad. So when this is all said and done, maybe I'm just whittled down to the New Testament, the current Testament, and then the maybe Proverbs and Psalms. We'll see. People talk kindly about those. I've read them before, but it's not fair because my memory is not amazing, and that was years ago. So I have a new set of eyes now, so I'm going to go back through and read it all. But the Old Testament itself, oof, no. I just have to, which is good. It'll make the Bible a lot smaller. So it'll be easier to read, a lot faster for you because people don't have a lot of time. But I'll continue going through that and I'll provide commentary whenever it strikes me. I'm not going to take the time to stop every single time and do a video about what I don't agree with. I would literally just be on camera every hour that I'm reading it because every page I read, I'm like, nope, 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 nope. So I'll get it all whittled down. But that's it for now. It's kind of a sad video to see what people are capable of, but it really hasn't changed. 2,000 years, 4,000 years, however far you want to go back. People are very selfish and they think in 80-year time frames. So when you think that your 80 years is all you have, so you got to get everything you got to get now, and you just got to fight and scrape and get whatever you want to get, and you're selfish and you don't care about others, I guess you'll do things like this. People you disagree with, you think it's okay, you can just beat them, tie them up, beat their hands, snatch their fingernails out. You can treat them like garbage. You can treat them like we treat animals. Basically, not me, but most of you. So that's kind of how they treated him, right? They treated him like an animal in a slaughterhouse. That's how poorly they get treated, just like people treat slaves. So it's horrific. I know it's going to get better, right? I'm not here for nothing, so it's going to get better. And it'll be a work in progress. I'll keep doing the videos, and we'll see how things go, and you can watch the world events unfold. But that's it for now. So just remember, God does love us, even if sometimes you don't think so. And God wants to provide guidance to help us to navigate this world that we're in currently, right? To navigate these 80 years or however long we have in these bodies. And just understand that every decision you make, they're all important. They all matter, right? We're here to learn and to progress. So your decisions matter. And when you do things like this to other people, that will impact you. You need to start thinking in the terms of eternity and not 60 to 80 years, whatever it is in your region. But start thinking big. Start thinking eternity, not just your life. That'll help you to make much better decisions. Because this is not good enough.